Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today we're finishing up a project that we started on the weekend. This is actually the second one. The first one we made is behind us on our 12-hour live stream, so check out that video. Free pattern, and we had a lot of fun. We made some pies and a lot of good fun hanging out with everybody. So what I've decided to do for the second set was to do with Quilt As You Go. So we have some better cameras that are going overhead now, and hopefully you can really be able to see. There's what's going on, but there are lots and lots. Go ahead and research, find the right one for you of how to do Quilt As You Go. There's like 100 different ideas out there, so do what's comfortable for you. This one is more of a, I'm folding it on the back and doing a hand stitch, so you're not seeing any stitches on the back, and nor is there any extra coming through on the front, okay? So that's what I'm doing here today. So I've already got the first two done, and I'm going to show you how I got there. What I did is I did a bigger chunk like this one right here. This is my backing, my batting, and my block, whichever size your block is, okay? Always do it a little bit bigger depending on your strip length as well of what you want to get from one block to the next. And also your stripping in between, your sashing in between, okay? So what I did is I did a little bit of quilting just with my walking foot to went around. We do a little bit more actually on this one right here, but we're pretty much done on this one. So this ends up being, hold on, this would be block number one because it was the poinsettia. And then block number two is the snowflake, okay? And then what I did is I sewed the sashing, the middle sashing in between these two blocks onto the one side here. I trimmed the backing, the batting, and the sashing here were all the same size, all the same nice, clean, straight edge. And then once I had this quilted, I did a 1/4 inch in on this one and then trimmed it and then put the two together, okay? And then once one is flipped over onto the other side, you do a little hand stitch. Hold on, sorry, do a little hand stitch. I did big stitches so you could really see what I was doing here. I probably should have used red thread so you could see it, but, and that's just one's backing folding over to the other. So I didn't want to do some different backing or have the sashing in between the back. I'm using the backing to help make the quilt, the quilt top and bottom and all come together, okay? So that's how I've come across this one so far. And now, see, as you see, when I've added the backing, batting, and sashing to this set, it's the two blocks here, what I need to do once I get these two together is make sure that one is trimmed closer with only 1/4 inch so I can be able to sew these guys together and then these guys together. So, okay, so easy peasy, all right? So let's go underneath the little machine here and then just finish out what I wanted to quilt out here on this block, okay? Because this was the last block. Okay. And I do have a much bigger stitch going on here. I think I have a 3.9. Okay. Oops. One more stitch up. Okay. I want to come in on the green. Okay. And then just lift your foot as you come to where you want to go to pivot. If you realize you didn't really want to go there, you can move your foot and then take another stitch. Okay. Definitely be using the walking foot for this. You could also hand stitch this together too. I did think about that, but you know, if I had the time, I would have. Okay. Is that preventing that? Sorry, the lid up. It looked like my thread was pinching there, so. Okay. And you could easily machine the back as well, but you're just going to see the stitches on the front. That's why I like to be able to do the little hand stitching on that one, because you're really just doing one little strip. You know, one little strip at a time. Okay. So, all right, quilting the top around this tree. And since it's the last day of our little Christmas in July, being the end of July here, let's finish off this little cute project. And of course, the one behind me was won by one of our fans in the channel, and I'm keeping this one. So, And I like having that little connection. And there's lots of people who've made this pattern before, and we're sharing it in our guild website, on our guild website under the, there's lots of actually categories and groups you could choose from. So, but you should come and join us there. You never know. You find a new friend. Okay, all right. Ta-da. All right, now that I'm happy with that, take my pins out. Use those in a moment. Now I'm going to put my two together, okay? And I want to make sure they're in the right order because this was block 3 and this was block 4, okay? So as I was saying, I was sewing the red onto the left-hand side, side of the block, okay? Now I'm just going to line that up. And now you could either just sew it this way, easy peasy that way, or you can sew it down this way. That is completely up to you, depending on how much stitches you want to go through. So I believe I sewed that only on the one side. Okay. Stick that under here. And this is where I actually put my stitches back up to like a 2 point something or other, closer there. Okay. Make sure you're lining up your two pieces, your block and your sashing. Okay. And try not to quilt too close to the edge. I kind of did a little bit of that there. You can see where it's got a little bit close to that edge. So you could always go pop a couple of those stitches, but if we don't have to, I don't want to. Okay. Now once we get these two together, get these two back here together here. See, you see I put my little sashing there, I sewed it on. Okay. Give that a little finger press. And then I want to make sure that this is nice and even, okay, at this point. Okay, I'm even right with the red. Sometimes you may have to tweak it a little bit. Try and get yourself a half decent straight line there. Okay. Okay, straight, nice and even, okay. Now with this side, because we want to make sure these two get together, we want to make sure that these two get stitched together first, okay? And then we need to make sure we have that correct measurement from one side going to the next, or we're just going to have overlap, okay? You can see how there'd be way too much overlap in there, so we have to trim one, okay? So let's trim this one, and we go 1/2 inch past, so we have plenty to work with. Okay, and that would be also the left-hand side of the block. Okay, now we're going to sew these two together. Okay, so just flip it. And again, once again, it came a little too close. Let's pop a couple stitches out there. That's to the tree. We can fix that up afterwards. Put a couple of stitches in there. We want to line those up together and then stitch them together. Okay. Oops, same down here. Just pop a couple. Okay. And then pin. Pin to hold it, because it's going to shift on you, because you are working with a few layers, right? So don't be afraid to pin. It's for better accuracy. Okay, and now we're just going to sew right along that little edge. Okay. Tucking the batting and other backing and batting out of the way. You just want those two bits of fabric together. You just want the sashing and the block. Okay. Okay. Line that up. Make sure we're all good to go. And there's no really point of changing the feet when you're doing this. It's easier just to do it with the walking foot. Lots of people, actually quite a few of our fans of our channel use their walking foot pretty much for everything. A little back stitch so we're not going to have anything come undone. Okay, now here comes the fun part. Okay, once we got all that stitched, we go here. Okay, see this is where our batting kind of lips over a little bit. You can trim that down if it's too much. Oh, I only had very little overlapping on this one, so I must have trimmed one a little bit. Let that one, let's trim this one, the longer one. Let's take 1/4 of an inch off of it. Yeah, oh, that's right, I did remember doing that. Because you want a bit of the overlap to happen, okay? All right, see there, now we got a beautiful front. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, now we just got to putter at the back. Right here. And what you want to do is take the smaller one and lay it flat. The shorter one, not the smaller one. And then you're going to take the bigger one, fold over, so it's nice and snug. Okay, make sure it's right. Pop a few pins in. Okay, hopefully you can see there. And what you really want to just stitch through is just the gray material, okay? Just the backing. You don't want to go to the front. But you want to make sure that the front is looking good, okay? It's fine if you can see your pins through it, but just don't go stitching through it, all right? Okay, move that off to the side. And just whip some stitches in there. And this way it keeps the back nice and consistent. It's not, you're not breaking it up with other sashing or borders or color. I mean, it's great if you want to use scrappy, have at her. And then just take a needle and thread, tie a little knot on the end of it, tuck it under one of the long sides, and then somehow just get yourself from one end to the other. Okay. And like I said, I was just using big stitches so you could see it, but you kind of want to either just do like either a little ladder stitch or even, a back stitch, or something that kind of either blends. And of course, you try to use a blending material, blending thread as well. Okay. Hopefully, you can see that. Sorry, should get it more center there. Okay, so we're just gonna do this as big so you can see where it stitches. How you get there and how you finish it off, that is completely up to you. If you wanted to, you could probably stitch these two back pieces together first and then stitch down the front. I mean, I kind of like the clean look of having no stitches on the sashing part. So, but you know, to each their own. Everybody's got their own thing. Okay. So once you get to this, here, let's just do here and here so we can get to the other part. Okay. Doo-dee-doo. Doo-dee-doo. That's really big stitches, and yes, I know. I understand. Yeah, let's just gonna lock it here. So tough to do with the pin. Okay. Okay, of course you do it much better. Right. And then the same goes with the top part here. See how I had it so it was nice and trimmed, right up level. Here again, you want to go about a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, depending on how fluffy your batting is, how much room maybe if you're using flannel, you may want to adjust those little measurements just a little bit. So let's take this up here, cut this on down, and we apply the same principle as we did for each block for each row. Okay. Just want to make sure we have enough to work with. So, okay. And then this will get flipped over here, and then I did loosen this one up earlier. I did, didn't I? I thought I did. And of course, then I just went and stitched some more in the corner. Oh, c'est la vie. Okay, that's the way it is. Okay, and then you'll just pin those together. Trying to line up your sashings. Okay, see how you got your little sashings right here? You want to make sure you're lining those up because you want them to look even and pretty. Oh, try and tuck that red to the other side there. And I did have the top of my chimney that was loose. I like my red chimney. Wow. I like my red chimney. I thought about doing a black one, but I'm like, okay, well that would be really the only black color in there. But there really wasn't because there's actually black in the plaid. So, and we're using a gray backing, so it could have went. What color is your chimney? We have a pellet stove, and it's black. So, but I mean, if you have a chimney at home, what color is it? Let's shift that. There we go. Make it a little bit better. Okay, now we're going to sew along that line right there. Okay. Making sure we're not getting our backing or our batting tucked in between. You could probably use little clips or pins, or the little clippies for these as well. So, and of course, I quilted up all my blocks first because that's the easy part. And I used just my walking foot. You could have used my free motion foot and just went all swirls everywhere. I think that would have been looking pretty as well, just having some swirls in between each block. Now, this is a Christmas project, but it doesn't necessarily scream Christmas, you know what I mean? So if you like the houses, and you could do lots of houses, you like the trees in the houses. I like the trees in the houses. Those are my two favorite blocks. So I may end up doing more of those later on. And then maybe changing out the center square of the house and the center bit of the tree to maybe mix and match, right? That was where the top of the tree was. So it's a little thick there to get through. But now that we have that straight line done for our sashing in between, okay. Okay. So we got a front line just like that. Isn't that nice? That looks pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. And then here's the same principle, minus that I've already ripped my stitches out. So, but you get it. Oh, here. Fold that down. Have to trim off a little bit. And then do your flip and pin, okay? Oh, I was wondering what happened there. He got tucked under just the corner of it. Okay. That's what happened. That's what pulled up my stitches. Mystery solved. Okay. There we go. And then stitch that down too, and then you got yourself your finished little wall hanging. Of course, you could do around the border. You have enough room. If you're leaving enough room around your blocks, you could put yourself another little sashing around your border, put a little border around your outside your project. Of course, this is just a little wall hanging. I'm just going to pin it now, but I'll finish it later. I'll show it off on the live stream on the weekend, on Saturday, okay? And those who do not know, we live stream every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes, usually once a month, we have a 12-hour, and we just had one last weekend. Okay, so isn't that cute? Super easy, sashing, quilt as you go, without the stitches on the front, okay? And you just hand stitch on the back. And you can do that in, several little stages. It's only one little section at a time, and of course this section at a time, put your blocks 4 by 4, or 2 by 2, row by row, whatever works for you. We had one of our fans make this as a bed runner, so she put them all together in a row, and I thought that was a lovely idea. I think I would like that, a tree, a house, or, a tree, and a mountain, and a tree, or something. I don't know. You can do whatever you like. Great gift to give somebody. Definitely, and a very fun and free project. And if you're interested in this project, it is from the Fat Quarter Quilt Shop, and it's last year's Christmas in July mini quilt, okay? So, Merry Mini Quilt, I believe it was called. We'll put the link below, okay? So thank you everybody for watching, liking, and subscribing. We greatly appreciate it here at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Don't forget to click the bell. There are several notifications levels that you could choose from, so make sure you're not missing out on anything that we have going on here. And yeah, we'll see you soon, okay? Big hugs. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the day.